coherences and sawtooth and whatsoever what we heard. Maybe you try to collect your neurons during the lunch and come up with some intelligent questions, which I'm more than happy to answer. There are no stupid questions, don't worry. All questions are intelligent. And obviously we also have the chance, if you are already a user of one of PEMF device and you want to share experiences with people in the audience, we are more than happy to do that, because it's always important that people who are interested in something hear from people using this technology already. That also helps, and that convinces people most of the time. So you wanna.
No, sure. Yeah, no.
So you wanna open the afternoon session.
The afternoon session.
You should not be here, by the way, right?
Oh,
you should lie in the hospital
I
now.
should be in the hospital.
Yeah, okay, I send you back after that. Okay. Yeah, he has a quite marvelous story, so listen to what he has to share with you.
Just give you a little background on this one. Is this on? Does it work?
Yeah, closer.
Just closer.
A little closer, okay. Yeah. Just a little background, just so you understand the significance of the story here. As I tell the story, you'll probably say, thank you. Yeah, that's better. You know, like I have a neighbor who dismisses me as being in a midlife crisis and all that, but I've been in a midlife crisis since I was 16, when I was knocking at the driver's license building to open up the morning of my 16th birthday so I could get my driver's license. You know, so I've been in a midlife crisis my whole life. Just so you understand, very active. I think I am. I do a lot of sports. I'm 73 years old. My doctor says I'm in really good shape for an 80-year-old. But now he thinks I'm an alien because he keeps using the word remarkable in my visits. I was diagnosed a few months ago with a arthritic hip, and I dismissed it for several months because an arthritic hip is an old guy kind of ailment, and I didn't think I fit the category of being an old guy, but apparently I do. So what happened was I was lucky I had a cancellation, but the life I was leading was very intense and very busy. I have a construction company. I've been involved in such projects as the Trump Tower. My company has been Vancouver House, high-profile jobs. Who races cars here? Yeah, Formula One. Somebody. I race the GT3 Porsche. Part of my retirement program was I just bought a new motorcycle. That's considered a super bike. It's in the 1000cc class. In first gear, it does 154 kilometers an hour. I have 6 gears. So, the police have a few words for me, but I managed to kind of avoid them so far. So, you know, every day for me, I can't wait to get out and to do my thing in the morning. You know, like I'm down at the water before it's light, going out on I don't know if you've heard of these gadgets. They're called e-foils. I would Google it if you can. E-F-O-I-L, from a company called Lift, L-I-F-T. They actually approached me and asked me to represent them. I actually go around Vancouver showing off on this. It's basically a surfboard that rides on the water, but you're 2 or 3 feet above the water. I don't know if you've seen them. Yeah, I was on TV. The police were chasing me through False Creek, and I wasn't cooperating by pulling over. And turns out that the only thing they had on me was speeding. I was speeding. So it's 6 knots in False Creek. I was doing 30. So that had 2 police boats on me, and somebody happened to film the whole thing, and it ended up on TV. And I was threatened with all sorts of, including jail and handcuffs and all sorts of stuff, but I managed to talk my way out of it. But what happened was I was scheduled to go in for an operation to get my hip replaced. And that operation, remarkably, happened like 2 weeks ago. And here I am. And I walked out of the hospital within 24 hours of having the operation. And the only words they had were remarkable. And I went in strong. I knew I had to have the operation. So I did. I have one of these mat systems. So in preparation for it, I was doing it regularly. Well, I did anyways. Because one of the issues I have with the sports I do is that, and that includes like skidoing and snowboarding, the problem that happens as you get older is that if you get knocked out of action, the atrophy sets in right away. And it becomes a downward spiral very, very quickly, in that you'll never recover in time to get back, you know. So what's important is that with minor injuries, that you recover as quickly as you possibly can. And that's what the mat's for, and I use it regularly. And I know a lot of injuries that I've had would have been really serious for someone else, and I managed to just shrug them off. So it's amazing. For me, it's a miracle. It's extended my life quality in a remarkable way. After the operation, I walked out of the hospital within 24 hours of having my operation. And the nurse was chasing me with a cane. Here, you need this. No, I don't. Go ahead. It was hilarious. And apparently they never had that happen. So, there he is.
Wonderful.
There I am. See, that's
Oh my
what
goodness, but you can go lower or higher?
Yeah, you can go lower or higher if you want. See, there I'm skimming the water.
So cool.
And that's kind of a couple years old, but yeah, that's not. That's just before the police boats showed up.
Yeah, it says that this guy was caught because it was too quick. I thought it was
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah,
Exactly.
they found it. That's amazing. Yeah. So I thank you so much for caring for my quality of life, and have a great time enjoying it. And
Well, my pleasure, but like I said, providing technology and using it are 2 pairs of shoes, so you can only benefit from it if you're keen to use it and if you consistently work with it.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have you here because, like I said, usually according to classical medicine, he should be in the hospital for another week and not be able to move.
Yeah.
So don't believe always what your doctor says. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody else want to share? Or somebody else has a question? It's up to you.
I have a question.
That's good.
I don't
An
know.
intelligent question.
I don't know if you can combine the pad or the spot with the mat.
Yes,
And
that's a very good question. That's actually a very intelligent question. Thank you so much. You get 50 bonus points credited to your account. This is always a question rising up. Can you use both applicators, for example, a whole body mat and a local applicator, in the same time? Well, technically now you can do it with the iMRS Prime because it allows you the split mode, where you can run 2 independent applications within the same time. But according to physics, you should not combine two sessions with 2 different applicators in the same time. Why? Because it's just, again, physics. You should not do this because when you run 2 applicators, obviously with 2 different waveforms, because on the whole body mat, you have a triple sawtooth waveform. This is the one giving you an abundant amount of frequencies in the same time. And on the local applicator, you are utilizing a square wave. So, if you know physically, if two different waveforms meet each other, they create chaos. So, what actually happens, you are creating additional overwaves which are not in control anymore, because it's not meant to be that two different waveforms meet each other. And then what happens is the mix of what you're gonna create may cancel out the effectiveness of each one of the two. And then you probably end up in utilizing an application which has no effect at all. You will not harm you, because it cannot harm you, but you will probably cancel out the effect. And I know that people are trying to be as efficient as possible always, because that's how we are as human beings. But combining a whole body application with a local application is a no-go when you really want to make sure that you not cancel out the effect. Now we have the second case. How about using a pillow and a pad application and a spot application, which is both a square wave and which is not covering the same spot? Because if you combine a whole body application with a local application, you always have certain spots where both exposures are present at the same time. When you use two local applicators, for example a spot and a pad, and you would, for example, use the pad on your legs, and maybe the spot on your neck or on your tennis elbow, whatever you would like to treat, and utilizing both applications with the iMRS Prime, using the split mode, then I would say that's a good to go from my side, because the applicators are far away from each other, so you will probably not create any frequency chaos, and at the same time you are using the same waveforms, and you're using it away from each other. So one is on the upper part of your body, the other one is on the lower part of your body, and you will probably not create any interference. So that's, for me, my opinion and my knowledge, a good to go. Yeah, but any applicator where any second applicator where the whole body mat is involved is critical and should not be done, because with a whole body mat you have an exposure on your whole body. So you have already a sawtooth exposure, and when you add a square wave, you definitely create chaos.
And would that be the same for the hexagon brain?
No, for the brain not. No, the brain can be used always. In conjunction with a pillow, a pad, a spot, a whole body applicator. She's talking about the AVE, audiovisual entrainment, brainwave entrainment, however you're going to call it. This can be always added to a past electromagnetic field session, because there is no interference at all. And this also applies to, people always say, yeah, but yeah, you said always two applicators, it's not working, but why is far infrared and PEMF working?
Yeah.
Because their wavelengths, have totally different characteristics. Both are out of the electromagnetic spectrum, but past electromagnetic fields is an inductive force. So there is you create induction. That's a mechanical force you can measure. It's a physical mechanical force. And far infrared is a wavelength which creates warmth. So that's a totally different spectrum in terms of frequency, in terms of how this force is made, or what this force is made of, and those two types of electromagnetic waves, they don't interfere with each other. This also applies to red light, for example. You could always combine a PEMF with a red light session. There are these red light beds or whatsoever, you know, and you could always add even, you know, a PEMF session with far infrared together with red light, because those waveforms do not interfere with each other. And only one of them is inductive, which is pulse electromagnetic fields, and creates induction. So that's the part what you should look at it. And brainwave entrainment can be always easily added anyway.
Can you explain about that piece, because I'm really scared about that. Like I don't want to use it on myself. I don't know why. I'm just scared.
Yeah, you don't know why, but you're scared.
Well,
okay.
I'm scared it's gonna like create more anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. So let's talk about this crazy stuff about audio-visual entrainment. You know, the basic idea. At the time we introduced that, the idea was much more simple than you think it should be, because my understanding was, if somebody has to lie for 8 minutes, what are you going to do there? Nothing. Right? So most of the people at the beginning, they always try to keep themselves busy, because they had to lie somewhere, which is very difficult for people. Right? To lie at a certain spot at a certain time and be there for a certain amount of time, 8 minutes, 16 minutes, however long. So for some people it's already a challenge.
Yeah.
So you know, some people, they try to entertain themselves just to get over it with the time. So in the good old times, people were reading newspaper and books, which was fine. In the modern times, people using their smartphones, which is not good, you know. But people are doing this, you know. Pardon? Yeah, you can watch TV. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong. It always depends on what you watch. But that's a different story. But watching TV has no direct interaction with PEMF.
Unless you've got Bluetooth TV.
Just the content, maybe, the waveform. Again, you know, we are getting the same, you know. But so if somebody's lying for 16 minutes, how could we make this more efficient? And then we came up with the idea that we say, why we don't create something for the brain, what we already have for the whole body. And that was the idea of utilizing brainwave entrainment, audiovisual entrainment, which is a quite established and also quite safe application out of, how are you going to describe it? It's interesting with audiovisual entrainment. It's not medicine. It's not even alternative medicine. To me, it's again nothing else than applied physics. Because the basic idea of audiovisual entrainment is quite simple. Science figured out that our brain is vibrating within a certain frequency range. We know that. We can even measure that with the EEG. Maybe you heard about that, electroencephalography. And so you can measure the brain waves, and it shows you values. Those values can be interpreted in frequency. And we also know nowadays from applied science that certain frequency ranges in our brain, they correlate with a state of how we feel ourselves. you know, how we feel. For example, in the morning, when you would do an EEG at a normally healthy person, you would probably see prevailing alpha and beta waves, which are the shorter wavelengths, so the higher frequencies, and which correlate with the mental state of being awake and alert and concentrated and ready to conquer the day. So this is just physics. You know, you measure, you realize, we have a lot of alpha and beta waves, we have almost no delta and theta waves, which are the slower waveforms, the longer frequencies, and they are more responsible for our state of being tired, being sleepy, dreaming. Those are these brain states where you can find a lot of these waveforms, and you can measure them. So, and then the next thing, what the neuroscience is more, it belongs a little bit more to neuroscience, I would say it like that. You know, then neuroscience figured out if you sing a song to the brain with a certain frequency, and this frequency is within the band, the frequency band, the brain understands basically, then it tunes in after a while to these frequencies. So, in other words, if I sing a song to you and you know that song, and you like it, and you can cope with it, then I can force you to sing it with me. And you would do this after a while when I apply this on and on and on. And this is how brain wave entrainment was discovered. So by applying external frequencies to the brain, which are within a frequency range the brain utilizes itself and therefore understands it, you are capable of forcing the brain to tune in to the frequencies you apply. Does it make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Good. So in other words, and now because we know from neuroscience that prevailing frequencies in the brain, they correlate with a certain mental state, right? So that gives us the idea that I said we can literally force the brain to change the frequencies, and as a result, to put you in a different mental state. Mainly the idea is, for example, people who are always under fire, managers, business owners, people who have a lot of stress to deal with on a daily basis, people who work in healthcare, doctors, people who take care about the elderly, all these people who are always under stress, you know. If you make an EEG on those people, you will have a lot of prevailing alpha and beta waves. And the problem with these people is they cannot switch their brain to delta and theta anymore. So they have problems to calm down, they have problems to relax, they have problems to recover, to regenerate, they also have problems to sleep, you know, because their brain is not transforming into these longer frequencies anymore. And with brainwave entrainment, what you do is you apply those frequencies, which the brain doesn't have anymore at that time, and in the same time you force the brain to tune in with it. And it's gonna work. So the brain is developing these frequencies again, which then has an immediate cause on your mental state, bringing you from flight, fight and survive to rest and digest. That's basically what brainwave entrainment does. And just to fulfill this, you can trigger the brain with talking to the different senses. You have the senses through the eye, so you can apply visible frequencies. You also have the sensors through the ear, so you can do this with acoustic signals and stimuli. And we also know that color has an impact on brain waves. And you do this together with the light you apply. So you actually have 3 different possibilities how to talk to your brain and how to motivate it to tune into certain frequencies using the audio-visual channel, audio with tones, visual with flickering lights, and at the same time also using colors, which also happens through your visual system. And the iMRS Prime and Omnium One systems from Swiss Bionic, they can be equipped with additional brainwave entrainment systems, which trigger all these 3 senses with color, with tones, and with flicker frequencies, and to do exactly what I just told you. You know, and some people, in fact, and I totally understand where you're coming from when you said, I'm afraid to use that, because I experienced that so many times when people use brainwave entrainment for the first time. And for example, they get exposed to a too intense light. That's why you can adjust it. And also to the wrong color, which doesn't match their current brain state, then it can be very unpleasant at the beginning. A typical example, a totally stressed out manager, you put them on a PEMF system and with brainwave, and you put them on intensity 200 on the full body mat, and together you put a brainwave entrainment system with red, 100% intensity. It takes about 3 minutes, and he's gonna leave the room, because this is exactly what this kind of people do not need at that moment. Because when people already see red, don't apply red. Makes sense, right? Because they already enough. That's where this phrase comes from. I'm seeing red. Yeah. So I'm already like this. If you apply, for example, green to this person, easy. No problem at all. Yes, now.
Because it's an alignment.
Yeah.
Can we actually see different color when we have the same set?
Yeah, I know what you say. Yeah.
Different color, I'm seeing different
Yes. This is very interesting. Thank you that you said this. She's, first of all, important note, always close your eyes, okay? I mean, I had customers in the past, they said, oh, this brainwave entrainment is so cool, but I have problems, I cannot see anything 1 hour after the treatment. Because they were open the eyes, looking in the flickering light, you know. I told them it's not a freak show, it has a therapeutic idea behind it. So you don't need to open your eyes. You have to close your eyes, because you get the sense of the light through your closed eyes as well. So it's not so for sure. That's more for sure clear. And now what she said, that's very interesting. I was waiting for that. She said, for example, I have it on blue. I close my eyes. I maybe see blue for 30 seconds. And then I see all kind of colors. Or a lot of people see just gray. Or people have blue but they see red and green. And yes, that's normal, because what you actually see, or subjectively see, is how your brain interprets the applied waves. So that's quite funny, and depending on your mental state, it may happen that the color you see, which is the interpretation of your brain, and the reaction on the applied stimulus, can be totally different compared to the color you expose. And there you can see how your brain is working with that. And it's absolutely normal that you can see all kinds of colors, you know, but you will always apply the color which you choose. The system doesn't change the color, but the interpretation of your brain can be very interesting, from any color to even black and white and gray. So that tells you how much power is in such an application and how the brain is capable of interpreting that. So coming back to your question at the beginning, it is not dangerous to use brainwave entrainment it's not dangerous at all, but it can be quite unpleasant in terms of your subjective feeling and reaction towards it. If you choose the wrong color, for example, and if maybe the flicker light, the flicker frequency is too intense in terms of the light intensity, which you can control both systems. So always start with a lower intensity, and if you want to really give you a good start into audiovisual entrainment, never start with red. Because red can be good. Red is, for example, a great color for people who wake up at 6 in the morning, but you cannot speak until 12 noon with these people. Because, you know what I mean? Because they're just not there. Those are the people, red will do the job, for sure. But most of the people, they are, nowadays in our society, are more or less high when it comes to the autonomic nervous system. So they more towards fight, fright, and flight, comparing to rest and digest. So most of the people, they tolerate colors with green easily, and if you don't want to get too sleepy and using ABE entrainment during the day, you can use any color which is related to blue, light blue, dark blue, and everything in between. I mean, color therapy is a book. It's not just 5 minutes talk. But you can utilize the entire power of color therapy with a brainwave entrainment system, because especially the hexagon brain allows you to utilize each visible color out of the visible spectrum. So it's very powerful.
Flicker light. Are you thinking strobe light?
Yeah, it's a strobe light, but with lower frequencies. But some people, they feel like in a techno disco when they do it for the first time. But interestingly, 90%, if you adjust it right, with the right color, with the right frequency, they fall asleep after 10 minutes. Even if it's really...
So each of the fast start programs will have a prescribed color to start
Yes.
with. And performance is something that I
Exactly.
usually do like 6:37 in the morning because I know I'm going to be out there doing something
Exactly.
stupid. And it's red.
The fast start programs in the iMRS Prime and also in the Omnium 1, in both systems, they also have pre-programmed patterns for the usage of audiovisual entrainment. So if you use them, like you said, if you go on the performance program, you will probably see a lot of red. Or a lot of red parts of the visible light spectrum, because red is something which makes you alert and which triggers your concentration. And that relates to a performance fast start program, because when you use fast start performance, your idea is to go, you have a challenge ahead of you.
Yes.
So you wanna be ready. And the brainwave entrainment helps you with the correct application of color and frequencies to not only alert your body, but also to alert your brain to be ready for the upcoming challenge.
Now, the Fast Start hybrid selection on there, it basically just includes the
Exactly.
the mat, right?
Exactly.
So what I've learned to do is, like, if I wanted performance hybrid, I have to press performance and then cancel it and then go to hybrid, because then it'll incorporate the performance program into the hybrid.
No, you don't have to.
No?
No, you can with the new 2.25 upgrade.
Okay.
You can always add the hybrid function to each Fast Start program out of the Fast Start
Oh, you
menu.
can.
Yes. You just there is an additional hexagon, which just tells you hybrid, active, inactive. So you go to the Fast Start programs, you choose whatever you want, sleep, performance, and then you just press. It will the hexagon will come up when iMRS is connected to the system. Otherwise, it will not come up. You know, because it detects it automatically, and then you can just put the hybrid. It's green for active and red for inactive, and then you can run the hybrid together with the Fast Start program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question, related to how safe is it to use this system, the spot applicator on the face, close to your brain, and is it proven to help with dental issues? Let's say somebody had nerve damage due to dental surgery, and do you have any records of actually, statistics helping people with that?
Okay, two things. First of all, you can safely use each applicator on each part of your body without restriction. So even if you use the spot in the head neck area around the brain on 400 intensity for 3 hours, the only probably side effect you're gonna have, you become more intelligent.
Have you had anybody try for vision?
Oh yeah, we have so many testimonials from each part. But just to make it clear, it's safe. There nothing can happen. Okay, and for dental applications, it's 100% go. When it comes to faster wound healing, when it comes to faster nerve regeneration, everything what is connected with healing, which is quite important for any dental treatments, whether it's extraction or replacement, or there are so many technologies nowadays in the dental industry. They make millions with that, right? Mm-hmm. It can be always used, pain relief, faster healing. It's 100% go, and it's 100% hit. Because, yeah, definitely. And we have so many dentists using PEMF also to reduce pain right after, for example, a small surgery, which is performed quite often when you work on the teeth, and it always heals much faster. It's almost comparing to these TEP operations, total endoprosthesis. So, for example, like a hip replacement or a knee replacement, dental implants. This is more or less the same topic. You know, you just increase healing time dramatically, really, and it's just 100% go, definitely.
Sorry, I got a follow-up question to that one. You mentioned 400 intensity. There's a 400 and up. Like how safe it is to use for different ailments, for instance?
Yeah, like I said, you cannot harm.
So there's no harm.
No, because the four.
It does feel that it's more intense actually.
Yeah, it is, but it's still, we talk about we talk about 300 micro Tesla max, which is about 2.5 times higher than the Earth magnetic field, which is nothing comparing to, I mean, if you stand in front of a microwave oven, you have probably 10 to 20 times more the electromagnetic exposure comparing to the spot on 400.
What about an off? I believe there was like an 800.
No, it goes to 400.
Oh, 400
Yeah.
watts. Oh, okay.
Except you have a system which I don't know
No,
from our
that's-
company.
I was thinking, but I was kind of, maybe it's too high.
The latest system I created goes up to 400. I'm pretty positive about that. You know, which relates to about 300 microtesla with the spot and about 120 to 150 microtesla with the pad. Because with the spot we have a little bit of a higher intensity because we can bundle the intensity on a more narrow it more down to a smaller spot. But it's still, you cannot harm. Most of the systems on the market, they have intensities, they are 10, 20 times higher than ours. You know, but the problem is they only work with intensity because they don't know how to solve the problem with the other properties. They all sine wave systems, so they have just one frequency at a time. They don't work with sophisticated waveforms. They don't have frequency generators built in. They work with dirty electricity because they just introduce the wall current to you, just hack it with all its super nice, yeah. I made measurements on the oscilloscope. You can see all the dirty electricity on that. There is nothing filtered. They just hacked the 60 hertz.
Jeez.
But you get literally this 100% electrosmog.
Somewhere in your literature, you're quoted as saying, a gentle breath is much more powerful than a very heavy puff. And when I read that, I'm the guy that was there like, I can do 400, no problem.
Yes,
And I kind of read that, but wait a minute, is that
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I tuned it right down, and it was a very significant difference that I felt in my sessions. Like I tuned it down to 10 or 50 or 20, and I was proud to be, I can survive 400 for 20 minutes, and that was just so long. It was, but, you know.
Yeah, but that's what it is. You know, men like us, we sometimes need to learn a lesson.
Stupid way, yeah.
Because we always or often believe in the fact that a lot helps a lot.
Yeah.
You go to the gym, you know, you have to lift the heavy weights in order to look like Arnold. You have to do this and that. No, but that's quite something we have to deal with. And we probably don't do this intentionally. It's just our genetics. It's just how our system works, you know. And then, you know what cured me? I'm very, how to say, I have I'm excited about hiking, about going to the mountains. A couple years ago, I wanted to go to Mount Everest. I wanted to do it before I turned 50. And then a lot of things happened in my life. And then before that, I met Veronica, and she said, if you do this, I'm running away from you because I can't deal with that. So I was really, I mean, I had the plan. The plan was done. How to prepare for that, everything was written, you know. I was on high mountains in Europe. I hiked a lot in the past, but I skipped the plan. I will never go there anymore. Now you cannot even go because you have no space anymore. You have to wait until you can go up there because it's a big business. But you know who impressed me is the people, the Sherpas, who, you know, they weigh between 50 and 65 kilos and they carry the same weight on their back 2,500 altitude meters, and they do this 2 times per day if you trigger them.
A lot of them carry the oxygen tanks as well, and they don't go up with oxygen.
So, and they don't look like Arnold's, right? Not at all. They, like I said, their average weight is between 50 and 65 kilos, and alone when they go from Lukla, which is the airport, that's the last airport you can go, and then you have to go to Base Camp Everest, which is about a 3 or 4 days hike. And most of the Sherpas, they carry all the stuff from the expeditions. They carry 65 kilos, 4 days in a row, every day for 8 hours. So how are they gonna do that? You know? And, pardon?
Prana.
Yeah, it's you know, well, first of all, they grow up in this environment, so they get used to it. But my opinion, they still, you know, question Newton's physics with what they are doing, right? Because there is no explanation, but they still do it. So that impressed me, I must say, you know, and that gave me exactly this kind of faith, not to believe that a lot helps a lot, that life, health, disease, it's all about moderation, it's about consistency, it's about also, sometimes you are also allowed to make a mistake, you know, which is maybe the bottle of wine on Saturday evening. Well, that's a mistake, but if it happens only one time, I even believe that our bodies need that kind of challenges in order to not lose their ability to protect. And you can only keep that ability alive if you trigger it from time to time, right? So, you know, and that's why, of course, you probably look better if you lift the heavy weights, you know, and you can impress one or the other girl a little bit more than, but you truly cannot impress yourself with doing this, not especially your body. I think you can more impress your body with moderation, with intentional living, in terms of what you allow to give yourself and what you allow to give others from yourself. It's also important. And just, you know, keep everything in balance, inside and outside and around you. And I think that makes a difference. That was always the concept which worked for me, because even when I lost this balance, and I did, like everybody, you know, just by knowing that I'm on the path to lose it, I could catch it and get myself back, because I'm consciously aware that it's happening, and that's why, you know, and energy medicine is truly not about intensity. It's about having this Sherpa mind, put everything together, and then, you know, do something what you usually cannot do. Just do it, because I think they are the only ones that never question it. It's just the people around they question it, but they should just do it, you know. And for me, it's unbelievable.
The statement you put out that resonated with me was that at the bottom of, like, what we're trying to do here is affect our bodies on a cellular level. So if you want to affect a cell in your body, how much force are you going to apply to a cell? And
it's not so much, huh?
Not so much.
Yeah.
And that's what got me off the 400 to the 20 level.
Exactly.
And that was what you explained.
Yeah.
Mr. Bernhardt?
So, question.
Mine was a little bit kind of in relation to hers a little bit, that if I've had back surgery and afterwards there was some nerve damage, and you always have this feeling of neuropathy in your foot. Like, it's like, you know, when your foot's gone to sleep, you're sitting on the couch and then you're kind of nodding it, that, you know, really tingly. Anyway, so when I use the small pad, it increases that sensation, which makes sense because it's putting the energy to the blood or whatever. But how do you actually get rid of that sensation? Like, do you have to keep doing it or doing it at a lesser amount? Are you trying to heal?
Well, in general, if one or the other sensation or one or the other symptom is becoming worse while using a holistic modality, which includes PEMF, that's actually a good sign. Because you somehow you gain a so-called healing crisis. You know, a healing crisis. Well, let's make that a little bit scientific, just for you to understand that how health and disease work. Are you? After.
Yeah, thank you.
It's 100%. So actually, this is our lifetime. Just I displayed here from 10 to 120 years, could be more, depends on the individual. And this is a percentage of your immune system. So what we're going to do now, let's see how health and disease works in terms of how does our body react on a certain incident during our life, and let's see what could happen to us if we, for example, go to the wrong doctor, go to the right doctor, getting the wrong medicine, getting the right medicine, or even heal naturally, all these different things. Okay, usually when you are not exposed to any disease, and we assume you were born healthy, your immune system is on 100%. You are 100% healthy. You have no army inside you're fighting against something from outside. And then at a certain age, something happens. So the first thing what happened when you, doesn't matter if it's a manual impact, a mechanical impact, or a virus, or a bacterium, whatsoever, what is the first reaction of your body always to something like that?
Inflammation.
Exactly. For example, it could be an inflammation. An inflammation, by definition, is nothing else than a healing reaction. Because an inflammation triggers your immune system to send out the troops, you know, your Igs in your blood, you know this, the Igs, to look where's the problem and then try to solve that problem. When this happens, your immune strength automatically gets lowered. It's like, you know, you go to fight in a war with, let's say, 100,000 soldiers, and 10,000 out of that 100,000 are involved in a certain fight with the enemy. So that means your entire structure of your army becomes weakened because 10,000 of the soldiers are busy with doing something else. And this is exactly how we react on an incident which we just described. So for some reason, there is a virus, there is a bacteria, you create inflammation, which is a healing reaction. So your immune system in general becomes weaker because parts of your immune system now have to deal with that problem. That makes all sense, right? So, let's say you are here, your immune system is only on 70%. So, and now, imagine, what is the best case scenario when this happens? What would be the best case scenario? The best case scenario would be your body would be able or is capable to deal with that situation on its own. In the meaning of, I don't have to consult a doctor, I don't have to take any medication, I'm just capable of dealing with it on my own. Which eventually will lead to that. Your immune system takes care of it. It cancels and fights the inflammation. The inflammation disappears. Your 10,000 soldiers are coming back, and you have your full strength of your army again. Does it make sense? Okay, so you are back on 100%. Second scenario, we are back here, and we have these people, they say, whenever something is wrong, I have to call my doctor. Well, this is quite practical, right? I'm not talking about fairy tales here. This is what happens, you know? Oh, I have this pain, oh, I think I have this, I have to make an appointment, or what can I do? And then it depends on the story and on the reaction, what the doctor does with you. If this doctor is a real good doctor, maybe he or she is capable of identifying the cause of the problem and probably telling you, you know, there's nothing we need to do. Just go home, relax for 3 days, your body will take care of it. You will end up probably with the same situation, just putting a little bit more time in between and probably a little bit of money. Okay, if the doctor is not such a good doctor, you come here with the inflammation at 70% immune system, and the doctor says, yeah, I can see, I know exactly what you have. You are already the 5th patient today, and there is a big thing going on, and you have to take this and that. So end up with telling you a nice story, probably giving you a prescription with some medication, or a treatment, or an injection, whatsoever. Which is also very common nowadays, right? Yeah. So, now you receive a medication or an injection for something nobody actually knows for what, because there is no actual root cause. You know, there is an inflammation because an inflammation is always there if something wrong, but this doctor actually is not capable of detecting the real cause, but prescribing something which is against the symptoms. So now what happens is, you expose your body with toxins. Not telling you about the doses, but whenever you get a medication, you get a toxin. Because a medication is usually 99.9% chemistry, right? And usually it's toxic because it is designed to create a counter reaction on a reaction in your body, in your chemistry. So eventually you will get back to health, but maybe, I don't know, depending on whatsoever, you will not be able to go back to 100% because of the medication. You created some toxins in your body. And those toxins are, if they are good toxins, they cycle around a little bit, and then if you are lucky, you get rid of them through your lymphatic system or whatsoever. But people are not always that lucky. Sometimes it happens that the toxins get stuck, that the body creates depots. And whenever this happens, you are already in a vicious circle. Because it may happen over time, because those are the people. What they do usually, this is how the lifeline looks when it comes to health and disease. More symptoms caused by more medication creates more visits, more problems, again, more medication, and so on and so on. So those people become more and more toxic, even maybe if the real cause of their problems is not even legit anymore. You know what I'm talking about? But they already are in this vicious circle, in this spot, exactly. And believe it or not, I would say nowadays about half of the entire population on this planet is already here. In this area. Because most of the people at least take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medication. They don't even know anymore for what they take that. Mostly it starts with medication for high blood sugar or high blood pressure. Did you know that about 10 years ago, North America produced 55 million sick people overnight by changing the benchmark for high blood pressure from 140 to 90 to 120 to 80? They just changed the benchmark. So 10 years ago, 140 to 90 was normal blood pressure. And then overnight they changed it to 120 to 80. And suddenly 55 million people were sick, according to the system. But not by being sick, it's just by changing the benchmark.
You're saying this is in the US?
Yeah, it was in New York, in North America. Yeah.
That's like 20%.
You may be required to take medication for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
And then they call them water pills.
And the thing about the real story about blood pressure is that every person has his or her own level. Which sometimes with people, they have a little bit of a higher level, and there are people they have a little bit of a lower level. But none of them are sick. It's just, but in our system, every person, it doesn't matter if it's a 2 weeks old child or an 85-year-old senior, is considered to be ill if the blood pressure is higher than 120 to 80. That should already raise questions. But obviously not. We just take all this with pride.
And then out of fear, you might get a stroke.
The sleeping sheeple.
And then they tell you, if you don't eat the pills, you get a stroke because you will have 125 to 90, which is quite okay. I mean, there's nothing to worry about. But I want to finish this. So the problem we are facing is that I'm not sure. I would not reflect this to the people here in the audience, because I know you are really much more conscious about all this. You know more, you educate yourself better. But I know it for a fact that this is the global trend of where health moves towards. And the movement is very obvious. It's all about keeping the people sick. It's all about, this is where the money goes. Because here are the people, they can still live, they can still articulate themselves, they can still maintain somehow a lifestyle, but they already so sick that they are depending on the healthcare system in terms of the medication they take, the treatment they are utilizing, and so on and so on and so on. And it's true, you cannot make money with healthy people and with dead people.
Did you know that the Flexner Act
The Flexner Act was responsible for the whole...
1910.
In 1910, yeah, the Flexner Act was responsible for the development of the wrong healthcare all over North America. Exactly.
So, excuse me, I still don't really know, like, I was thinking about back and the neuropathy. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So do I use?
So whenever you have a healing reaction, when you ever said, because your observation was when you use the system that sometimes the symptoms become worse.
Yeah, like.
Exactly. And the reason why this happens is because whenever you use the system, you probably come here because you trigger your immune system to force a healing reaction. And a healing reaction is always an acute worsening of symptoms. It's always like that. So,
But is neuropathy related to your immune system?
yes, because your immune system is your health police. Absolutely. And if something wrong with your neural system and it needs to be corrected, your immune system, your immune defense has to start working on that.
So is it good to use the small pad?
Yes,
Like
definitely.
400?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Does it then switch on gas?
No, yeah, because what you experience is just a worsening because triggered by a healing reaction. So that means the body is understanding what you are doing and taking over this and create a quite strong healing reaction. And the healing reaction is always accompanied by a sign, by a symptom. In this case, it's the worsening of the already existing symptom.
And how long can something like that take?
Usually, it's maybe 2, 3, 4 times, and then you will not feel it anymore, because then it already shows the tendency towards healing. And here, when you're already ascending towards healing, there is no, the healing reactions are still there, but they are not, you will not notice them anymore. But they mostly happen here, because here it's acute. You know, here it's already chronic. Because here the differentiation between healing and disease is much lower than if you are 100% with the immune system and you have an immediate a problem or situation with a health issue, then it will really drop and you will have strong symptoms here, and if you heal them out towards 100%, they will disappear again. Here, the symptoms are always there, but they are not really strong. You know, that's all maintenance here. So people who live in this field here, they will probably, if it becomes worse with them, that will be a very slow process, but they will also never become healthy again. People here have never a chance to go back to 100% if they more or less don't change anything dramatically right from today till tomorrow. Then maybe they have a chance. But this is where most of the people are already living. Now your question.
It was actually, you wanted to hear some testimonials, and I'm so sorry, this kind of goes back to something we were talking about 20 minutes ago. I just couldn't get your attention without jumping.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to share.
Yeah, we can have another testimonial, of course. Then I can have a break on this.
Yeah.
One quick question about
Yeah.
the locality of the spots, the accessories.
Yes.
So the full body mat, obviously you got the whole thing, you're
Yeah.
laying down on it.
Yeah.
The smaller pieces, let's say it's my shoulder and I've
Yeah.
got my spots flung over, but let's say it's not comfortable, I can put them on my lap. How big of an effort do I need to make to localize the spot location or the mat to the position?
Not really,
Right,
because
because your blood's going
Yes,
through and
yes.
every cell is getting
you have to
charged.
understand, electromagnetic waves are the only waves out of the electromagnetic spectrum which are capable of going through entire materia and create induction. Comparing, for example, to all kinds of other, for example, laser. Laser has a very limited penetration depth. Ultrasound, which is, by the way, not electromagnetic field because it's a sonic wave.
Right.
But ultrasound has a very limited penetration depth. Maybe 3-4 centimeters. You know, that's it. And electromagnetic waves, they go through entire materia
And they go out.
and they spread in any direction from the coil, from the source.
Yeah.
So you can be as unspecific.
That's what I was thinking, because your question was around, should I get it up here? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, put it here, who cares?
You will always,
It's going to get
exactly,
your whole body.
Exactly.
And the
Yeah.
radiance of a spot in comparison to a mat, I was having another gal ask about,
Yeah.
the far infrared goes up about a couple of inches
Enough to
to
cover.
get the whole body.
Yes,
But
yes.
the PEMF waves are just
Yeah.
like, they're going like this.
They go about 4 to 6 feet.
Yeah.
About even 2 meters. You can still
Mhm.
measure that.
Yeah, so you can put your spots over here and
Yeah.
still fix your
Use
eyeballs.
the- yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing, just to add this before we start with you,
Do you want this back?
no, it's okay. Why? You know, this is the spot we have.
Yeah.
The spot is very interesting because it has a property which is quite unique. You have 2 coils with a flexible band in between. So actually what you can do, you can apply the applicator so that the coils are facing each other. For example, put your shoulder in between while the coils are facing each other. You know, whenever the coils facing each other and you create an electromagnetic field, and the electromagnetic field is meeting in between 2 coils which are parallel to each other, then you create a so-called Helmholtz effect. And this Helmholtz effect is very important because the Helmholtz effect ensures that you create a 100% homogenic field right in between the coils. And that even increases the effect of the electromagnetic wave per se. So when you have the coils facing each other and they emit an electromagnetic field right here in the center, the field is 100% homogenic. And if you apply this, for example, to treat your knee, left side, right side, you have a very, very high efficiency right in between. And that makes the spot so powerful comparing to a pad, where you cannot create this effect
Sandwich.
because you cannot bend it in the way that the coils are facing each other. You can do this only once, and then it breaks. So, yeah, and now it's yours.
And how far apart can we pull the spots? I know that maybe if you start making those little bands in between, I know it's all your wires from your
You have to
coils.
be careful, because there is a wire in between. But usually the band
goes pretty I can get it sort of.
Yeah, yeah. If it's not 100%, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's just,
Thanks.
it's not about, it's just, they have to more or less align, you know, and then you will have this effect anyway. But this is a very powerful applicator, much more powerful than you can ever imagine. Yeah?
Thank you.
Are you ready? Or-
I know.
Do you remember your testimony?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm brand new to PMF treatments, like a month and a bit. And I remember when I got my device and I set everything up, I was so excited. And I'm really, really hyperactive. My brain does not stop. I dream very intense dreams every night, so I don't sleep well. I'm always on the go. I sleep about 5 hours a night. And I'm constantly running at like 1,000 miles an hour. So I don't need to drive cars because I am a race car. It's happening all the time inside. And I just wanted to speak about the Omni Brain because you were concerned, well, Chrissy. So I just wanted to share my experience specifically with you, but I mean, if it benefits anyone else, great. The first night I had it, I'm like, I'm gonna try the goggles. I call them the goggles, sorry, because it's easier. I put them on and I'm like, I'm gonna try the relaxation setting, because I wonder what that does. And it was, I don't know, I call it trippy, because I'm always used to running at this pace. And I remember laying there going, oh, this is kind of a fun light show. I can see this pattern, now it's this pattern. Oh, interesting. The sounds match the flickerings. Okay. And I'm following the patterns because I can't shut up inside. And then all of a sudden, it went quiet. I did not fall asleep, but it was something like sleep when the program finished. So this was one of the, what are they called, the preset things? It was the preset for the relaxation. When it finished, I remember taking the goggles off and sitting up and looking around going, it is so quiet. It's quiet in my head, which I don't even understand that. Apparently there are people who live like this and it's amazing, but it kind of freaked me out at first because I'm like, I don't have thoughts. And I guess I'm thinking about the fact that I'm not thinking about anything, and I got up and I'm walking around going, this is really freaky. Oh my gosh, like I'm aware of, oh, there's a cup there. And I can see it clearly and I can focus on it because I don't focus well. I sat down and read a textbook that I was working on, and I could read and understand my textbook because relaxation doesn't make you sleepy, it makes you calm. And it calmed me in a way I don't even know if I can achieve that elsewhere. So it did that. Then the next night I'm like, well, I'm gonna try the sleep setting, let's see how that works. And I had the best sleep. It wasn't long, it was only 7 hours, but it was 7 solid hours of REM cycles, like nice deep sleep. I had no rememberable dreams, I woke up refreshed, and it still freaks me out in a, I love it, but do I trust it, but I love it, sort of thing. So I don't know if that helps you at all, because it all freaks me out, everything. I even spent the money and it still freaks me out, because I don't know what it's gonna do. I'm really hypersensitive to things, so I had my setting like brightness really, really low so that it wouldn't overstimulate. I did try red once for 5 minutes, which is not a good idea. I was really angsty and even more hyper than usual, but I just wanted to share that with you and with everyone else. And I've never tried it again because it was so trippy. I'm like, I gotta be in the right mindset for this and have to make sure I don't have
every day.
Right? I know, it would be great. I should start my day like that, but I might never get anything done. So I just wanted to share that with you and with everyone else.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, one last question.
Yes, yes.
What about pets and PEMF? Like,
Totally.
how does it work with pets?
Yeah, with the pets, I mean,
Do they have cells in their body?
No, but I mean,
I told you that,
where does the dose, like the
yeah.
intensity?
Well, first of all, you can introduce pets to our PMF system, so they are working with the pets equal like with human beings.
Yeah.
There is also no specific frequency for the pets, no specific intensity. It's even better with the pets because the pets usually, when the intensity is too high, they will let you know. They don't go on it.
Yeah, no.
Because they have the better sensitivity.
Yeah.
But usually, if you turn on a PMF system in your house somewhere and there's a pet close to it, they will trigger it and they will go towards it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I've got a cat that now every time I
Yeah.
go lay on the mat.
Be careful with cats because cats sometimes they are weird.
This one,
Huh?
yeah. It comes running when I go to lay.
No, but it's true.
Huh?
You know, I mean the dogs. If you have a dog at home, that's a home run with PMF. With a cat, it depends on the cat. Huh? Because sometimes you have cats, they are afraid of radiation and they won't go. With dogs or horses, for example, it will never happen. But with cats, it happens. They have a different anatomy, how they sense and interpret energy. That's why cats sometimes, maybe you remember these pictures from the ancient times, from the grandmas, when the cats were sitting on the TV. Remember that? They were sitting on the top of the TV. They felt very comfortable sitting there, even if it's electromagnetically not a nice spot to sit there. But with some cats, they look for they are seeking radiation. Quite weird. But not all of them.
Right.
A dog would never do that. Never.
Wow.
But in general, PMF works very well for pets. And yes, and also yeah, and very powerful, and it's a quite good alternative for any kinds of chemical treatments, especially when it comes again to pain relief, to wound healing, bone healing. Those are the things, increasing blood circulation, more or less exactly the same what applies to human beings. So that's it.
I've been using my iMRS since last November, and it's figured out like everyone else's sensation, like clutter. For the last few months, I've been noticing that I've been having intense pulsations, so you can actually see my body sort of pulsating different rates at different times, and it's usually affecting because I have cerebral palsy, so the areas, which I think is good, no pain or anything, and I go horseback riding and my instructor is noticing changes. So I wanted to share this and see if there are other people as well. I know Dale said there's one client that has the same thing, but what does that tell me? Is that my body's reacting increasingly positively as time goes by, or are my cells just opening up even more, or what's your?
The thing with you is, I remember you. You were here. I think it was not in May, right? Exactly, and I didn't say it to you yet, but I was quite astonished about your progress when I saw you today. The difference between your way of experiencing your improvement and me is that I didn't see you since then. So she was on the lecture in May, right here in Vancouver, and from what I remember, because we had a personal chat there, I remember that you're so different. You're so more, I don't know, alert, more active, the way how you walk, the way how you articulate yourself. For me, it's a big difference to what I remember when I met you in May.
I noticed it last month because my arm, it had a low procline, and it wasn't really like that. Like, it's still a little wonky, but I at least have more swing to my right arm.
Yeah, I can definitely say that. It's unbelievable. I can hardly believe it, because I remember exactly now when you were here in spring when we had our personal conversation there. For me, it looks like a huge progress. Ciao, bye-bye. In any direction. Also, your way you articulate yourself, you speak, your voice is has more strength. This is, I can just tell you my impressions when I compare it to what I still remember from our meeting in spring. Overall, it's really cool, I must say, your progress, and I can just encourage you to keep going, because we talk about a couple months now, and I'm sure you're faithfully using it, right? Because I can just see that. But I don't know, Dale, you have pardon?
Yeah, so another thing, she also had the kinesiologist measure her arm, the contracture in her arm is actually straightening out. So it's straightening out, it's disappearing down.
So is there another therapy that is happening at the same time as
I'm not really doing much else. There's an acupuncturist who was doing me before the PEMF, and he got some more straightness before the PEMF did. I was gonna see him again, but I don't know, he has some issues going on with his family, so I'm still waiting for him to come back to the clinic. But maybe I'll find someone else to help me. But I'm sure if I go back and do some acupuncture, it'll be even straighter, faster. But right now I'm just doing the PEMF on my own, and it's, I can probably say safely that every week there's a little degree change in my arm. So long as I place my arm directly in contact with the mat, I think that's the most beneficial, rather than having it like this.
Wow.
And I also burnt my arm 2 weeks ago, and I took pictures of it showing the progress. It was a 1st degree burn right here from my arm.
Oh no. And it's gone.
Almost, just a very faint now.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this is really a great progress, what I can see. And for me, it's always easier to detect because I mostly don't see the people in between. So I can compare my knowledge from one meeting to the other without having the time frame in between, and we are definitely on the right track here. I can just tell you that.
Were you going to speak to the Quick Start programs? The changes?
Yeah, about the Quick Start program. Okay, let's take this as a closer for our Thanksgiving weekend session. The Fast Start programs. First of all, like the name says, we started in the Omnium to introduce that to people because we figured out that some people sometimes have a problem to find the right setting. And it was not so much about finding the right setting. It was more this kind of insecurity of probably or maybe doing the wrong thing. Even you can't go wrong, but we took this to heart, and then we just thought about how we can pre-program certain pre-installed patterns in order to make life easier for users, especially the users who use it in the benefit of their homes. So that was more or less the story of the Fast Start programs, and then we had to find appropriate names for the Fast Starts, which were related to what we programmed, and obviously, like sleep, performance, regeneration, relaxation. So these Fast Start programs are related when it comes to the PEMF application only to 2 of the 4 properties, which is the duration of the application and the intensity level of the application. Those are the 2 they change within these Fast Start programs. So you can probably imagine, for example, if you choose the sleep program in Fast Start, you will probably not get high intensities. Exactly. So the pre-programmed settings are on a very low level when it comes to the.
You can't change it.
You could, but that would not be the intention to do that.
I understand.
You should not do this.
No.
So and usually, if you're utilizing PEMF to calm down something inside your organism, what you usually do is you apply lower intensities, but you increase the duration of the application. So, you know, if you want to put your child to sleep, you sing the lullaby, and the longer you sing it, the more calm the person becomes, and eventually fall asleep. And that's exactly with the sleep program. So you apply a very low intensity, but over a longer duration. In this case, I think it runs for about 24 minutes. Yeah. And for example, performance is a program which is quite interesting because it starts with a lower intensity and it changes the intensity with every minute of the application towards higher. So it literally increases the stimulus every 2 minutes lying on the system to bring you more and more to the performance level, but to slowly wake you up on that. So we don't apply full power right away. We gradually increase the intensity to slowly prepare the body to get to that high peak of energy.
Now, I notice it also works off the exogen sense finger thing.
Yeah.
It'll, like it's
That
pre-programmed,
can even customize it if you,
it will customize itself based on your body.
Yeah, but this is outside the fast start programs again.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was going to say, that
outside.
doesn't work in the fast
No,
okay.
it's outside. But that's also a possibility. But to let you know, with the fast start programs, every pattern can be individual depending on what you're gonna do. And the intensity can change over time. Some people always they approached us and said, I think my system is not working because when I use the fast start program, it changes the intensities. Well, that's on purpose because it's pre-programmed. So
here's something, I don't know if we can use it. I go to, like, for example, sleep, and then I'll start it, stop it, then go to hybrid, and hybrid will automatically load the sleep program, but add the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And if I use the exogen sense, then it regulates.
with the hybrid,
itself.
yes, yeah. With the hybrid, in the hybrid version, in the hybrid mode, the sense works, but in the fast start program, the sense does not work.
Because that's what I'm
Yeah, exactly. But again, and if you add audiovisual entrainment, so if you add the hexagon brain or the omni brain with fast start,
yes.
the pattern which are related to the specific program are also pre-programmed for the glasses in terms of which colors and which organ clock, which frequency spectrum. And this is also pre-programmed. So if you want to use the whole spectrum and you don't know so much about what you are doing, you can always utilize the fast start programs. Just look what you want to do: relaxation, regeneration, performance, sleep, whatsoever. And you can also add the brainwave entrainment. It will automatically always give you the correct patterns according to what kind of fast start program with what kind of intention you want to use it.
Okay. One other question.
Yeah.
If you go to the split mode and you use the iGuide system that you have in the other.
Yes.
Now, if you only use one side, if you put the mat on the split mode and use this mat on one side,
yes,
you get the iGuide. So, like, you can specialize it for inflammation, you can specialize it for any that you have.
Yeah.
But then it's really hard. You can't change that. That's definitely preset.
Yeah, that's preset because that's why it's preset, because it's specialized.
But sometimes you just want to add some time to it or something. But
Well,
I guess just do it again.
Yeah, but it makes no sense because it's specifically done for that.
It's designed.
You can always create your own application either in hybrid mode or in manual mode.
Yeah.
Without the hybrid, just with the PEMF.
Yeah.
And then you can go up to 60 minutes upon whatever your discretion what you want to do.
Thank you. Those are my
yeah.
questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's 3:45.
Can I ask a strange question?
It can be strange and still intelligent.
Quantum energy, how do you respond?
What is quantum energy?
You don't know.
Well, according to physics, of course I know. According to physics, quantum physics is everything which cannot be explained anymore with Newton's physics.
Okay.
This is the definition. Because the problem nowadays is that when we talk about quantum physics, behind quantum physics there is not a lot of evidence yet. Because we are still limited to Newton's physics, because we still believe in the idea of Isaac Newton when it comes to prove the effects of physics. So, quantum physics, quantum medicine, quantum energy. We talk about these little things which we know that they exist, but we are not able yet to prove it. I give you a very interesting example of which we can explain with quantum physics or quantum energy, but we cannot explain with Newton's physics. And this is a very interesting phenomenon with each of you already experienced at least once in their lifetime. So imagine you sit in a restaurant and you have this feeling that somebody is observing you. Did it ever happen to you?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, yeah, I think, yeah. And then you somehow, you see that person. Because for some reason, something triggered you that a person is observing you. And according to Newton's physics, it makes no sense because you have no senses to detect that. You have no eyes in the back of your head. You have no other reason to believe that somebody was observing you, but it happens. And this is, we know now already from quantum physics that there are little tiny parts in the atmosphere which are not yet described in Newton's physics. Maybe you heard about them. Those are the so-called quarks.
Yeah.
And those quarks are parts. They are part of the atmosphere, and it seems that those quarks, they can somehow trigger something in our sensoric system and create that kind of impression, sensation, which obviously cannot be proven by physical science yet, but somehow it's there. And probably the next big thing in medicine, or when we talk about energy, or maybe even a new technology which can be related to this, is everything with the first word, quantum. When we go really to explore, prove, and develop the science of quantum physics, which, to my understanding and to my knowledge, is already there, but it's not developed yet. But like I said, those are the things, they are quite weird, and maybe they allow the idea to think about that there is still more in our atmosphere than we already discovered and that we already proved by science.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that will probably be the next big thing. Quite interesting. But still a myth. And that's why I don't like when I mean, a lot of these PEMF devices on the market, they name themselves quantum medicine or whatsoever, without really knowing what it's all behind, you know. I think quantum is a very powerful word.
Yeah.
Right? You probably know it best. Right?
Quantum field.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's hard to imagine for me right now what it all includes or what it all contains of, because it's so much, it's so powerful, you know. I like the word because it also partly describes what we are doing.
You're halfway there.
Exactly, but we are only halfway there. And I think there is still a lot to explore, what we don't know yet, what will help us in the future to improve energy medicine, to make it more powerful, maybe also to discover new things which we don't know yet, and you know, taking these new things and putting it into technology. Remember what I told you first thing in the morning was that this thing becomes boring because nothing is changing. You know, the waveforms, it's given.
But if anybody's interested, you look up Leela, Leelaq.com.
Yeah. Okay, you got it?
Leelaq.com.
Leelaq.com.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just amazing.
But the whole thing, like the waveform is given, the frequency is given, the intensity is given.
They have done research.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about PEMF now. There is not so much new.
Yeah.
You know? And it doesn't change.
It's complete.
Exactly. It's somehow complete. It's accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's accomplished. And I'm eagerly waiting for the next big thing, how we can make this whole energy medicine thing, bring it to the next level. So what's next? We explored AVE, audiovisual entrainment. We explored far infrared. We explored laser. We explored electromagnetic fields, and so on and so on, red light. So everything is more or less there. And now what most of us do is just trying to combine this with that and adding this to that. But at the end, it's nothing really sexy anymore. It works,
yeah,
but there is no, you know, it's not sexy anymore. Yeah.
Change that.
Yeah. And of course we don't have to change it, and we all know that it works.
But it empowers each individual it touches.
Yes, but I'm still looking so forward to, you know, to exploring something new and to discover something new. We will, for sure. I 100% believe in that. But right now it's more like, okay, that's it. You know, that's where we are. And maybe it's good, because maybe we need to digest this now first. Because statistically, 99.9% of all people on this planet, they don't use PEMF yet. So there is only a very exclusive group of users worldwide benefiting from this technology. Though there is still a lot of work to also excite and convince the other 99.9%. But being in this business for 30 years, and don't understand me wrong, it's not that I'm not excited about what I'm doing, still I am. Because, you know, seeing these testimonials, hearing these stories, knowing that you do good for mankind, knowing that you help people to become a better life, to change life of people, you know, business-wise and also health-wise, I mean, what more can you ask for? This is already so powerful, right? And that keeps me going on a daily basis, because it's so exciting, you know, to know that you do not harm people, you do good for people, and and you accompany so many people all over the planet for more than 10, 20, 30 years, meeting them on a constant basis, always here and there, and just, you know, hearing about all these exciting stories. I mean, that's the best thing you can ask for. However, I am still not old enough to acknowledge that there is not the next big thing coming, and I'm sure it's coming. You know, there is something which which is sleeping somewhere and which will eventually be finally discovered and come to the surface, and then we're gonna deal with that, you know. Remember, by the way, I wanted to give you a follow-up. Remember I introduced to you about personalized nutrition? So the product is ready to go. The lab is ready to go. The only thing is compliance. We are still in touch with Health Canada in order to import that on a legal scale. For all the people who don't know, we come up with something really cool and big, because we're gonna combine genetic testing with providing personalized nutrition for each person. So that's gonna be huge. And we have a laboratory in Austria, one of the highest decorated genetic laboratories in Europe, which is also completely certified. We more or less have the product ready. We did a lot of additional testings with different coatings and stuff like that. So we more or less know exactly where we're at and how we're going to do this. The only red flag right now is compliance, as it's always like that. Because the problem is every product is individually manufactured for one person.
Oh my God.
And that means that on every product there is a different label on it with the content and with the ingredients and with the amounts and everything. And this is something which makes life right now very, very difficult in terms of getting regulated by Health Canada and also by the FDA. But I think we will find a way, because we're not doing anything illegal or wrong. It's just they were never confronted with something like that.
Sorry, you say product. What is? I haven't heard this product.
Yeah.
What product?
It's. We talk about nutrition, but they are personalized.
So it's a personalized meal? Or what?
No, it's just nutrients.
Oh, a supplement.
It's a supplement, but it's not a supplement. It's something which is designed according to a genetic test that you perform. So it's really tailored to you. And every product is unique. Every product. And yeah, it comes with a lot of challenge in terms of manufacturing, you can probably imagine, but we solved this. The problem is, really, yeah, it's all solved.
You're so good.
The problem is compliance.
Yeah.
And by the way, we are doing this with cosmetics too.
Oh.
For all the people who are more related to the beauty. That's going to be big as well. Cosmetics by genetics.
Wow. So this is beyond the methylated, a lot of people can't do the methylated coloring, right?
Yes.
Folic acid.
Yeah.
That's a big deal if you have the MTHFR.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So is this even beyond that?
It's beyond that.
The D3 and other.
You really get a personalized nutrition according to your genetic code, to your genetic expression. You know? Yes. Yes. You do a DNA test, a saliva test. Yeah, and we have one laboratory in Austria who is doing that. So even for North America, your saliva test goes to Austria.
The only lab in the world not working for the World Health
Exactly.
Organization.
Not working for Mr. Trudeau.
So is that a permanent genetic analysis?
That's the good thing, yes. Genetic analysis needs to be done only once.
It won't change.
No. Yeah. That's also the thing about this wrong system. They always tell you to do a blood test. A blood test means nothing. It's a snapshot.
It's a saliva.
You know, go and make a blood test and drink a bottle of wine the evening before. Your blood test will look like a piece of crap. You know? And you do it two days later, and maybe in between you only eat good food, and your blood test will look like this, you know. But your genes are your genes, and they don't change. So that's the idea, to develop something which fits to your building block, and not to your snapshot situation of
Or your budget at Costco for
Exactly.
Can you
Exactly.
Can you give me a quick example of what genetics would mean in terms of a supplement? What would it reflect? What would it?
Well, for example, I give you a very simple example.
Yeah.
People tell you don't drink coffee.
Okay.
Well, that's wrong. You can only tell that to people who are not able genetically to deal with the caffeine in the coffee. If you have people who are capable of dissolving the caffeine because they have genetic ability to do that, then coffee is quite healthy. Because beside the caffeine, coffee contains of a lot of good nutrition. So, is coffee healthy? Yes or no? It depends on your genes. So, when we do a genetic test, we will figure out, that's about 50 to 60 genes you can check, which are related to how you're going to deal with solid and liquid food. And depending on how this result is, we will provide you with a nutritional supplement which respects the results. And also, it's not only that we give you a supplement, we also give you 250 pages of a report. Tell you, this is the food you should cook for yourself. Those are the ingredients you should use when you cook, because they fit to your genetic picture, what we figured out from the saliva test.
Can we do the test now?
No, you cannot.
But their genetics needs to be balanced with the lifestyle, does it not?
Absolutely, that's the epigenetics. Exactly. Exactly, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
But
yours is very helpful, but there's another.
there's always a but when it comes to health, you know? And the but is always you.
Your lifestyle.
Well, not you, but you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Wolfgang, I think last time you said too that according to the DNA, it will give the indications also of how your body will receive the nutrients.
Exactly.
And that you time release everything in.
Yes, we have. We created. We call them smart grains. They have a different coating, and they even dissolve differently. The problem is when you take supplements, you have to make sure that they don't dissolve before they enter your intestines. So that's the first challenge. 99% of all the nutrients you buy, they are gone before they dissolve in the stomach. So the nutrients we do, they are specially coated, and they will survive until they come to the intestines where they should go. And then even there, they have a time lapse. How they dissolve, because some of them, they don't like each other. And if they dissolve at the same time, they will probably cancel out the effect they will create. So that's why we call them smart grains, because they are smart in terms of, they are not really smart, but they are dissolving right at the time when they should. Not to create any negative interaction with other ones, in order to cancel out a potential effect.
Is that kind of the lipid that coats them on against hydrochloric acid?
Yes.
I see.
Yes. But it's all organic, so it's nothing chemical, and it's just. I think if you want to utilize nutrients for the future, you have to bring it to that level. Because what we are doing now, we're telling you should eat vitamin C, not knowing how much, not even knowing whether you need it or not. We tell people they should use magnesium, they should take magnesium, not knowing how much. So the problem is we provide suggestions without knowing why. So we have no evidence for that. And I think the idea is to combine suggestions with your actual building block. That makes total sense to me. And that brings the game to a completely different level. And a genetic test is one time, because it is what it is. And believe me, you can read out a lot from such a test if you want. More than you want. I mean, you can literally read out death sentence for some people. But we have about 50 to 60 genes which are interesting to look at when it comes to supplements or to nutrition. And you can do a lot out of it, like a recipe book with food which are all designed to your genetic to your genetic code. And this is something we would like to get into. Not to make it too medical, to really keep it lifestyle, but to make it personalized and to give more power to the idea of I know what you need and I can give you what you need. So cross your fingers, because I know this is such a great business opportunity for all of us. And it is not a 5,000-6,000 price tag comparing to a PEMF device. We talk about a test, 400, 450, maybe $500, and the supplements will be around 200 per month. So it's doable, really. And we just look for the compliance, and then I so want to do this because I so believe into that, and that will open a brand new chapter. So just want to give you that follow-up. We are on track from our side. We just need to get that compliance thing straight up.
What's your doorway country? Which country is your doorway?
We would like to, in North America, me personally, I would like to start in Canada, because that's how I started with the PEMF as well. And I feel more comfortable because, I don't know, because maybe it's because I feel that Canada has more the European thinking.
If you can get into healthcare.
Then the meth lab below us?
Yes, yeah.
Like it's so hard in Canada.
What do you mean?
If you can get into Health Canada, you can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
They are terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we want to look at it.
Yeah.
Exactly, and but and obviously I know that a lot of people wait for this, and I know exactly with whom I want to do this. But I believe that's so huge, really. It's really big, and I'm highly motivated. But comparing to 20, 30 years ago, unfortunately, compliance is not what it is. And believe me, because I know what I'm talking about. And
Especially in Canada now.
yes, and I don't want to burn my hands or whatsoever, or put something in jeopardy or whatsoever. Yeah, we cannot, So we have to make sure that we can really do that on a legal basis.
And do you have a website already?
No.
Not until you got.
Well, I have a website, but it's not online yet.
It's not online
Yeah. But everything is ready since long time, huh?
Yeah.
Veronica, are you still with me? Okay, good. Yeah, happy to hear that. You want to go to dinner with me tonight? I will invite you if you don't mind.
That's so cute.
Okay, so more questions?
That's a question about like marketing to, you're that group is very indoctrinated, let's just say they're very brainwashed about what medicine is and
What do you mean with the whole group?
That group, that one, that's
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
with all the meds.
Yes.
So are we, let's say, I'm saying we, I don't have a mat yet, but if I do and I wanna sell it,
Yes.
am I selling to that group, or is it more like the health conscious type?
Health
Uh,
conscious.
Probably it will be both, you know. Usually the ones out of this group, you probably cannot talk to those, but you can easily talk to those. Because they went through everything, and they cannot find any purpose. So usually those people, you don't even need to look for them because they will find you. They are still motivated, thinking that even if they belong already to the group, they can find somehow a way out of it. Without knowing what we are knowing, that they are already in deep shit.
So over. But I think it takes a talent of how to recognize where they are.
Exactly, you know, exactly.
To deal with them very gently.
And that needs a couple side effects, and a couple side effects of the side effects, and a couple health crises to figure that out exactly. Yeah. But you describe perfectly. The target groups for these products are the desperate ones, based on my experience, and more the people who want to stay healthy. Which was not like that 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago PEMF was the last exit scenario for people who didn't have no hope anymore. And now, with the education level we have amongst the people who are health conscious, and the knowledge, the just being intrigued to find out something new, that opens this target group of health conscious people, of people who use it as a preventive modality, that opens that target group more and more, which is fine because this target group is even bigger than the not so healthy ones. And those people are more thankful because they don't need to prove in showing up a change in their health status, because you more or less are healthy, they want to stay healthy, so they don't seek for proof. They know already that it's going to work. Whereas, you know, the half-dead ones, you have to show up when you introduce PEMF, and you have to change their condition for good.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I am actually more and more convinced also to talk to the healthy people, also the younger people become more health conscious, you know, and they are also willing to invest in their health.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the business in the future will be not more better than it was before, because the target groups are just I wouldn't say exploding, but we have more health conscious people amongst the healthy people whom we never saw as a target group 10, 20 years ago, and now it becomes one, and a very interesting one.
I think allopathic medicine is doing itself harm.
Well,
yeah.
Just a general. Just a general economic reflection here. A year ago, there was much more disposable income available to everyone. Today, with the interest rates and all the rest of the economic, I notice a lot of the recreation stuff. Nothing's moving, nothing's selling, and you know, it may be a little more difficult to promote some of this stuff just because of the economy right now.
Absolutely, we that's part of the market.
Yeah, part of the market. Yeah,
it is right now, and believe me, we have the same situation in Europe. It's not only here. I mean, I mean, we were shocked last time when we were in Canada, in the East Coast. We were in Toronto on a Saturday, and most of there's this nice district where all these big brands are, and 50% of the stores were closed. They were even empty. Yeah. It was really sad. Even the area where our office is located, 50% is empty. So that was quite irritating to me to see that. But I always said it, the real result of what they did to us for 3 years will show off the 2-3 years after it's over.
Yep. Yeah.
And now it slowly comes to the surface, you know, with the inflation, with small businesses closings, and all that stuff. It's we have to deal with that on an increasing basis for the next 1-2 years, for sure, until it gets eventually a little better.
The point to make is that don't give up.
If we're allowed to get better, thank you.
Don't give up. You're still laying groundwork for when it improves a little bit. Some guy, I talked to you a year ago about this. Do you still sell those? You know, like.
I think sometimes I have the impression that they want us to fail.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they just want the big companies to take over, because then it's less work for them to administrate them, to maintain them.
One ball, one chain.
That's part of it.
Unfortunately, that's my observation.
Yeah.
He's sarcastic.
Get rid of the little guy.
He has all the reason to be. And
after the last few years?
yeah, I think so too, yes. It's unfortunately.
On the wall?
Mm-hmm. Pardon?
The writing is on the wall?
Yes. So it's only us who can still change that.
You know, before 2020 even happened, I, for some reason, said to Paul, you know, if anybody ever came around and said, we want those mats you people have, we're recalling them, they're not beneficial, I'll hide them in my floorboards. There's no way they're getting my mat back, because this is where they're going, right? They don't want us to have these things.
No.
They don't want us to heal ourselves.
That's right, yeah.
They want us dependent on us.
So,
yeah. When you
get them out there and hide them if
quarters
they're coming
of the
on.
economy.
Yeah, but it's only us who can still do something against that.
Yeah.
You know, we have to realize that. It's not them, they will not change. You know, it's only us. And
I had 4 children living in 4 different countries last year. 2 of them knew all about ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, you know, the whole bit. They knew, this is, you can buy it off the shelf. There's just no, don't stock it because they're gonna say no next. All of that crazy stuff was not happening in their country. People were sober. Nepal, no problem, we just go about our business.
There's a
But the
quote.
hype was on.
There's a quote from Ronald Reagan, and it goes like this. It's what are the 8 scariest words in the English language? I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
yeah.
We're gonna keep you safe.
But like I said, that's development. You can observe it in every country right now. And there must be a plan behind that, because it's so obvious, right? Or maybe they are really so stupid. I mean, they are, but so stupid that it happened. It just happens. But I cannot believe in that.
It was planned for
Yeah,
years.
I cannot believe in that. But it's only us who can do something. Never forget that. And as long as we sit and take it with pride, nothing will change. Even if we take it with pride. At a certain point, we have to stand up, which is painful. It becomes painful, and it will happen. Maybe not in all countries, but in several countries it will start. And then we will see where it takes us, you know. But as long as it doesn't happen, we still do what we are doing. We believe in what we are doing. We're being ambassadors in what we are doing, and I'm just very, very thankful that you allowed us today to be your guest here in the house, even if it's a Thanksgiving weekend, which means a lot to me that you invest the time to come here and spend the whole day.
I think the thanks.
With a jet-lagged guy.
Sorry,
I was getting better after lunch, I must say, you know, I started to adapting to Canada time. Slowly but surely.
I think the thanks should come from us to you.
No.
I think you're a very remarkable man.
No, it's all good, don't worry. I'm just a small fish from a nice village in South Bavaria. I still don't even know. It's 500 people live there. Ja, ein bisschen, aber das ist so klein.
Okay.
Ja. It's so tiny. Coming with my wife, she was born and raised in South Moravia, which is a very nice place in Czech Republic, where the beautiful women grow on the trees. Just need to shake that trees.
You're gonna pay for that.
And I come from, you know, I'm coming from Bavaria, where the cows are more beautiful than the girls. So now you know the whole story how we ended up being together.
I had to leave Bavaria.
Doesn't know what he's
Yeah,
saying.
So I have to leave now because I have to go back to the hotel and get the credits for what I said. Thank you very much for being together with you guys, and all the best for you. God bless you, and keep on doing what you're doing. You're all good people. You have the heart on the right place, and pulls on, and stay healthy. Thank you very much. Thank you.